Hello, hello. Hi, guys. So great to see you. All right. So, thank you guys so much for joining me over here. So, this channel, Tarot Dog, Regretless Life with Aries. I've had this channel for about 2.5 years since I got my Aries. And I always intended to do more with it when I had time and impetus to do so. And that time has arrived. I've thought about this for a long time. But this channel is different than my other in the sense that it'll be not as content heavy. And I really want to focus on broad messages, collective messages. And I wanted to make it really like more interactive than my other channel in the sense that I wanted subscribers to be able to throw out a topic for a fictional storytelling. I personally have my own deck that I've created because, like I said, I've been doing this for a long time, thinking about doing this for a long time. And I like the real broad bigger perspectives. It's fun to do love reads and all the other reads that come up on my other channel, but I like my brain to have to work a little harder too. And so I just thought that this would be really fun and give like a greater opportunity for other things to pop up. And I just wanted to be more interactive because if I'm doing collective reads, collective storytellings, which is what I am as a fictional storyteller, not a psychic, I wanted to give a space where everybody can throw in their input because I've noticed that the subscribers on my channel have been so just like they're mind blowing. Some of the things that people will comment, they're so thought provoking, they're so beautiful, and I just thought let's give a platform for everybody to have some of their voice also because I'm just so impressed with all the intellect and all the wisdom and all the really nice things that come to people's minds, and I thought it would just be a fun place to share it. So that's what this channel is. I've had people saying, I'm so confused, I'm so disappointed, and I don't know what everybody's deal is, but I'll tell you, if I'm disappointing you, no need to voice it, just exit stage left. It's okay. I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. That's okay. I'm good with that. But for those of you that do get it, that are here and want to just have fun, it's all just free entertainment, right? That's it. It's just something to do on an evening or when you're doing dishes and you want to listen to something thought provoking. I'm honored that you pop in to hear my storytelling. So, with that in mind, I hope that clears up all the confusion that I've seen people writing on this channel lately. And a lot of people aren't confused at all, so I figure, well, this must be the right spot for some people, and it won't be for others. And I completely understand. Lots of love to everybody, regardless of whether they're going to be here or not. But tonight, let's do some free storytellings for you guys. So you've got choices. Either you can type in your own generalized topic. Please do remember this is general. I'm not going to do predictions on, is somebody's partner going to be doing this or do that. It can be, if you want to, throw out a general love topic, that's fine. If you want to make it a specific style of love, past love, new love, lessons out of love, how to love, however, but just be mindful that I'm looking for something a little bit broader, which kind of makes us think a little bit different. So you can write down your own topic and that's fine. Or if you don't care and you want it to be more random, I'll use my own deck that I've created. So you guys just let me know what you want and I'll just roll with it. All right, RT, I saw you were the first comment in the house, so I'm going to go ahead and pull for you. And your topic is feeling something on the horizon. Ooh, that's exciting. That's really fun. You know what? I want to go ahead, since you're the first over here, I just got a new deck. And I want to go ahead and use this new deck also. All right, so let's begin. If the overall framework for this storytelling is feeling something on the horizon, let's take a look. We have mistake. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. We have black pearl, which has to do with gluttony. He who has not consented to what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have. Oh, excuse me. He who is not contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have. That's actually a really good message. And we have wrath, the hope diamond. The best fighter is never angry. Okay, so feeling that something is on the horizon almost looks like we have a character who is fully anticipating a bit of like, it's not all going to be roses and rainbows, but they're going to walk into something and evaluate a situation with a very calm sense of presence. I mean, these messages are so great. By the way, this is the Gemstone Whispers deck that I just got, the fire red version, and it's I really like it. I had scanned through it and I was like, oh, I'm digging this deck. But in particular, feeling something on the horizon, I almost feel like our character knows that they have to be really zen. They know that they're going to need all of their wits about them. They're going to need their philosophical views to handle something, because it's not going to be necessarily super easy. There may be elements of being able, like our character is going to need to be able to be very discerning about a character. I don't want to use the word judgmental, but they are probably going to have to look at a situation, see it for what it is, and be able to determine, where is this person coming from that I'm dealing with? What mindset are they in? It does come across to me like our character could be dealing with someone who has childlike, greedy little behaviors, and our character may need to be able to say, okay, I'm facing off with somebody who doesn't want to apologize, facing off with somebody who wants it their way all the time, and I'm not going to let it rile me. I got to consider the source. Two of Swords. Yeah, it is almost like feeling that something is on the horizon that's going to give our lead character a moment of pause. And, in reality, don't we all encounter people where we go, wow, that's breathtakingly selfish? That is a colossal jackass move. That I can't believe somebody just wrote that to me, just said that to me, just acted like that. And they're clearly oblivious to what a jackass move that is. What am I going to do? How do I handle myself? Well, let me think about this. Do they even know that attitude is just so unacceptable? And I feel like our character is going to be faced with one of those moments. They know that they're going to deal with someone who's probably doesn't have a bad heart, but maybe just is a little immature, or a situation that's immature. And they're going to say, all right, let me check in with my guides. I'm feeling like I'm going to face a difficult moment with a person who might not be uber evolved, and I want to keep my cool, and I want to check in, and I want to not take it personal, and I want to be prepared for this moment so that I can respond as an intellectual. I can respond as a calm, higher perspective individual. Let me just get one more card on this. This is very interesting. It might test and try our character, and it might even be the information that they needed to gather. Like someone's going to perhaps reveal something where they go, will responding change anything? I can love this person, I can love them, but I may still say, but I don't want to give my love to them per se. This could be the moment where somebody goes, you know what, if responding isn't going to alter anything, I might just simply move on into calmer waters. Now, this could also just be one tiny segment of a conversation that it's like, now is not the time to address it. Let's move on in conversation. It might make our character say, I care, but I'm not going to open myself up and let someone's kind of childlike, selfish behavior and perspective ruin my day. I know they didn't mean to hurt me, so I'm going to move on because, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Like, it's kind of that attitude. But yes, this could actually, even though this is a rain cloud, it could actually lift somebody's spirits because they're like, oh my God, I am so not even going to respond to this. I'm not going to get riled. And it could be a really wonderful moment for our lead character to say, we're going to meet a lot of people like that in life. And instead of being like flabbergasted and letting it, overwhelm us and make us feel like, God, I cannot believe this. This is so wrong. They need to change this. They've got to do better. I think our character is like, they don't got to do better. They got to do who they are. And I personally can not let it rile me. I think I know that's not the greatest message on, feeling like something is coming, and it might be the fact that our character may have to face a difficult moment. But I think life is filled with difficult moments. I think that's almost like an assurance that there will be difficult moments up ahead. But I do love the fact that this character is going to use that difficult moment to actually ask themselves the bigger question. Do I respond? Do I react? No. I aim for peace. And so I can accept them right where they're at without it impacting my heart. That's what I see in this particular one. So anyway, that is what we got there. Next up, can I get a reading for love in 2024? Life like the wind. All right, let's pull some cards for you, darling. 2024 general collective read for a character. You know what? I think, hold on, I got to get this. I've got one color card that's should have been shuffled in from earlier today. Let's go ahead and go. I want to see what's the color of love for next year. Like, what's the tone? Like, when I do backdrops and stuff, I'm very color sensitive. I like if I'm going to do softer stuff or brighter stuff or harsher stuff or bolder stuff, I think about that. So what's the overall color scheme? And we have gray. Gray is calming. Gray is elegant. Gray is, well, compromise, control, neutrality, and practicality. So first off, the flavor of love, the color of love is not like blah. It's peaceful. It's someone looking for a sophisticated, calm, not crazy highs or crazy lows in love, not the roller coaster ride of, oh my God, I've met somebody, but like we're fighting and then the next minute we're making up. This is like a character who says the tone for love for 2024 is, practicality. I want something that doesn't shatter my life into jagged little shards every 3 days. I think that looks pretty darn good. I've been in a very gray mood, not blue, not unhappy, not like gray as in like, oh, I'm in a bad mood. I've really been drawn toward gray lately myself. Grays matched with like a soft rose pink. I think those colors look so beautiful together. It's like, it's an energy of, again, I think sophistication. That's the word I want to keep using. So we'll just leave it at that. So let's go down that road a little bit. Since we're choosing a more sophisticated energy for the tone of love in 2024, let's see what else that means. And let's go with a deck that is a little bit more sophisticated as well. We have a Page of Swords, but this Page of Swords is not about conflict. It's actually two people facing one another and like understanding that we have a lot to communicate about. It's two characters that would even want to find where their boundaries are. Like maybe one of the most meaningful connections or meaningful conversations that two people would have is to first learn where do you stop? Meaning like where in conversation are your limitations for your comfort zone? What kind of triggers are there? We don't know someone at first when we get to know them. We don't know exactly where, what throws their hackles up. And so maybe asking right out of the gate. So what are the things that, you've discovered that rub you the wrong way? That might be a topic of conversation so that those pitfalls can be avoided. What are the things that make you feel disrespected so that I can avoid those things? Because that's not the way I want to make you feel. But everybody comes in, some people love razzing, they love playing, and other people are like, I don't do that playful joking around until we find a comfort zone, because otherwise it just feels mean. It feels like somebody's like zinging me. Other people love that. They're like, oh, I love somebody who can throw it back to me. This is like two characters who have to ask each other, what are the things that make you shut down so we can avoid that? We've got a Four of Swords. It's looking for the kinds of love that will be healing, looking for the kinds of energies. This is all about, it's very thoughtful. Whatever the romance tone is for 2024, it's less drama, it's avoiding drama, and it's about finding soothing, safe energy. So let's go ahead and talk about who are our characters. Do we have any insight into who our characters are? Because if we're talking about romance, I assume it's going to be more than one person. So character number one may be described as a Nine of Cups, somebody who has a lot of their self-possessed energy. They may look great in hats. They may be somebody who's real satisfied with their life in general. So if they bring somebody into their world, they want that person to complement their life. They're not looking for something that's going to be a project. They're not looking for something that's going to like rain on their parade. Their life is already amazing. So to bring another character in, they're probably going to have to be just as happy with their quality of life as character number one is, so that it's like I have a good life with or without someone, but I'm choosing to bring in a compliment. Knight of Swords, quick-witted, um, like probably an intellectual, and someone who actually has a really good time in life. They're not rigid in their beliefs. This is somebody who's probably actually, as much as we say they might be looking for a calm kind of and sophisticated kind of relationship, this person's not some stick in the mud who can't have a good laugh. This is a character who's like, I could spontaneously choose to, do fun things. Life doesn't have to be a metronome. And then we have the world card. They might be somebody who's got big plans to travel the world. This could be somebody who is like in a phase of their life where they either have a really broad mindset or they like to travel. They would be willing to do some adventurous stuff. They're here to have a good life, not a boring life, but they want a stable life. So who is the character that might be entering into their world? Just because it sets a tone for what a character wants doesn't necessarily mean that this is what they'll find. But let's see. If they're putting out the energy, I always feel like then that's probably what they'll start bringing back in. So character number 2, the other half of this equation, could be a Wheel of Fortune. Queen of Swords and the Chariot. Well, this matches very nicely. Someone who's just as progressive in their thoughts. Somebody who's ready, just like our lead character is. Truthful, honest, has boundaries, very articulate, probably very like good, sharp mental acuity, and someone who is, they may be a little slower moving, whereas the other character is a little more swift and spontaneous, which could be a nice compliment. But the thing is, they're willing to do things. They might be like, oh yeah, I'd love to go away for the weekend. But can we plan it for next weekend? I do need to get a couple of things organized. Or sure, I'll go right now, but give me 30 minutes. I've got to pack snacks. They might be a little bit, this character number 1 might be, let's randomly go for a drive. Maybe let's bring our passports. We might cross the border. And we'll grab snacks on the way. Whereas this character is like, sounds good, but can we make sandwiches here before we go? Like, there is a little bit of a difference, but a compliment. It's really nice to see somebody who's in the same energy space, though, as our first character. And more than anything, it's nice that if our lead character is putting that energy out, what I want is stable. What I want is no crazy ups and downs. I want something that feels soothing. I still want it to be fun and I still want to have spontaneity, but I want a love that heals me and that feels like a compliment to my life, not a freaking roller coaster. That's exactly what this character looks like. Somebody balanced, secure. I always say only an emperor or an empress rides in a chariot. They are a little bit more cautious than our lead character, but they're very grounded. Doesn't really matter. We have all feminine energy here, but it could just be, I never worry about the gender because everybody has divine masculine and feminine energy within them. If this is a masculine, they might be in their feminine energy, meaning they're in the gravitational pull, like bringing things toward them that they really want to experience. They're in that place of their life where they're looking for, actively looking for the person that makes them want to move forward, that makes them want to say, this feels like it's going to be nice. This feels like a good time. This feels like somebody who respects my boundaries. This feels like somebody just like what I'm looking for now. I want to progress. So it's a very progressive romance for 2024 is what this looks like to me. Very nice. I like that energy for the energy of 2024. If we're talking in general, like, what's the vibe for romance in 2024? Maybe that's what everybody needs, right? The whole collective is looking for less drama, more stability, more respect, more, and giving and receiving more respect is the way I would look at that. Okay, next up. Let's see. All right, Kimmy, you said any. Well, then let's go ahead and let's pull, and we will see. We've got friends and people of consequence is our general topic. Sorry, probably still can't read it because my handwriting is not exactly smooth, but friends and people of consequence. So in general, let me go ahead and I want to get to, there's a deck I'm looking for. Hold on just a minute. Where did it go? There it is. Okay. So friends and people of consequence as the general topic. First off, let's see. I'm going for one of the ancestor decks. Focus on children, pregnancy, birth, and adoption. So, first off, in the realm of friends and people of consequence, there could be an emphasis placed on rebirth. It could be an emphasis placed on renewing connections with friends. Could be an emphasis because it doesn't have to be about babies. I will say this is the reason I bought this deck was this particular card. I love the shape of babies, and this was such a gorgeous, like perfect little baby. This card makes me so happy. I feel like there is the desire to nurture. Now, of course, it could be taken more literal as well. And in general, looking at the world through the eyes of like, you know what? The people that I care about, I see the things that matter to them as well, and I respect them more for, you know, the way they are busily working on like raising their children, putting their energy into their endeavors. The only thing is I don't want to be so narrow vision that we think it's only about human babies. A baby is anything that we nurture, anything that we protect, anything that we invest in to watch something grow. Granted, it does specifically say pregnancy, birth, and adoption, but the major topic here, the collective topic, was friends and people of consequence. I would say becoming like this could even be somebody who's going to become the godmother or godfather to someone's child and taking that role really serious. When we think of ourselves like, wow, I'm a responsible party, even if it's not my human baby, I'm a responsible party to oversee the health, wealth, and development of this child. Their parents asked me to be a role in the most important thing they'll ever do. That's huge. That shows how important we might be in somebody's life. I'm a person of consequence in their life. That's a huge, I'll say, like pat on the back for someone to recognize, wow, they chose me. Out of all the people in the world, they chose me to play a role in this. Likewise, making conscious decisions on who we want to care for, what connections we want to nurture. And certainly this can be about somebody who is really thinking about the health and wellness and well-being of children. That would be someone of huge consequence. We have a Knight of Cups. We have an Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. And we have the Four of Cups upright. You know, it almost looks like it's not like this is some huge disappointment, okay? But there could be, like, I could go in two different ways with this. This could be about someone who's looking at their wayward child going, if only my son or daughter would just mature beyond this phase. They're a knight right now. And they go out and they get their heart broken because they give too readily of themselves instead of learning how to like grow in a relationship. And I'm just bummed out on their behalf. I want the best for them. How can I give them some lessons? It keeps feeling to me like we have a character who's looking at their role as either a parent or a role model, and they're taking it pretty serious, and they really want to help maybe a younger person manage their impulses better, manage their relationships better, and they see themselves as somebody who could maybe help guide them. But it's like, the thing is, I got to impress upon them that they have to put more effort in. And it bums me out that this sweetheart still keeps acting like a knight. I think it's the urgency, though, or the desire, I'll say, to protect. This could be, let me just ask, what is the bigger message for our lead character here, who seems to be the person who's focusing on this? You know, it's kind of like they're making this set of lessons that someone else needs to learn, kind of makes them like a little overly responsible. And this actually kind of, I think, goes along with that. The Three of Swords in the reverse, it says, try not to let one's heart get too broken on behalf of somebody else learning their lessons. Their lessons are theirs to learn. Instead of being like, but no, I don't want them to go through hard stuff. I want to protect the people I care about. I want my kiddos, I want people that I care for to not have to go through hurt and pain because it hurts me to watch it. This kind of says, they're going to be all right. You know, everybody has to go through their ups and downs. They got to navigate. Knights have to be knights before they can become kings and queens. They've got to experience and explore and go through their own trials and tribulations. And even though it can be hard to watch because we only want the best for the people that we care the most about, at the same time, they got to be permitted to have those experiences, and that it's not going to be such a heartbreak for our lead character after all. This looks like somebody who cares a great deal, and they're beautiful, and they don't have to be talking about their own children. It's just that this is somebody who has like a loving soul, and so of course they care about the people of consequence in their life. They care about the lives of their friends' children as well. But this kind of hints that realizing that everybody has their journey to maturity, as hard as that can be to watch sometimes, as much as we wish that we could fast forward it for them, sometimes maybe it's not the agonizing thing that it appears to be. The other way I could have read this, because I said there were two ways, could literally be that someone is contemplating that really big step and wondering, am I ready for this? But they could even be saying, is a knight the person that I would choose to make a baby with? And if the answer is, I'm not really sure that they're ready for that, then is it really any heartbreak? No, because our character might be saying, I want someone who will be ready to step up into the role of parental material, and a knight might not be ready for that. So in that case, the analogy I like to use is, if somebody said, I'm so hungry, I need to go get some food, but then they walked into a hardware store and said, I'm here to order, whatever, a hamburger. Would we cry when the hardware store says, well, we don't sell that here. We sell, hammers and nuts and bolts and stuff. So you got to go next door. No, we just shrug and be like, oh, my bad. No problem. I'll go next door. And that's where we order the food. Same thing. If we're asking a knight to step up into this mature level, it's kind of like we're asking a hardware store to give us something they simply can't provide. And it's not really heartbreak after all, because it's like, oh, all right, they're not ready for that. That's cool. That's cool. Maybe I need to move on. Or maybe I can just accept them where they are, but I know maybe I'm not going to go down that road with them of expecting them to provide what I would like them to. Like, that's kind of the big picture here. But I like how non-stressful this aspect of this general story is. It is looking at something that matters a lot, but taking all of the intensity out of it a little bit. So a little bit more relaxed energy, I would say. All right, next up, we have got a universe guidance. Okay, Willow, let's go ahead and pull one for you, my dear. Universe guidance. Well, let's first start here. I like to use my universe deck, but let me first start here. We have got Mercury. Ooh, so communication. And of course, we've got a little retrograde action happening. So it says how you think, communicate, talk, and travel is the main topic. This is pretty exciting, because if we are talking about, oh, hold on just a second. Let me just mention really quickly. I don't see anybody spamming the chat. I will ask. Actually, just let me get this clear real quick before we move on. I actually like it when you guys go ahead and continue to put in your question on these open chats, simply because I always pull from the bottom of the chat. It's the only way I know who's still here. And I never like to do stories if somebody was here, but then they're gone, because then they don't hear it. And then people that have been patiently waiting and, been here, they miss out on a chance. So please know, it is totally fine with me if you continue to put your message in. I don't consider that spamming. Spamming is like if they're here to, and they might be, but if they're here to, somebody's not even paying any attention to what we're doing. They're just coming in to put in a message about whatever, I know how you can make $10,000, those things that are just, they're nothing. Those to me are the spams, and those things I don't want in the chat. But if you guys are repetitiously putting in your preference, that's totally fine. Okay. Just so everybody knows kind of the way I operate here. So for the Mercury message, for the universe message, how you think, communicate, write, talk, and travel. What is that representing here? Actually, let's go with this deck next, and we'll save my universe deck for the end. What does that represent right now? We have got, a 10 of Cups sideways. We got the Queen of Wands upright. We got the Two of Swords in the reverse. Okay, so the big message here is, when it comes to The universe's message about communication, a Queen of Wands gets to take charge of how they communicate. It's like suggesting to be that Queen of Wands in aspects of life, to contemplate, am I creating any kind of a blockage toward getting my 10 of Cups? Let me open up my defenses. Let me lay down my boundaries to a certain extent. Um, Let me just ask myself, if I could have anything, what would really make me happy? Let me think without restriction. Let me imagine the greatest love affair ever. What does that look like? Not being like, well, I mean, I'd like to have, like this huge romantic, I'd like to go and live in this gorgeous log cabin and have this gorgeous little like wintertime getaway, and I can picture my partner. We turn on soft jazz music and we cuddle, and there's this fluffy gray cat. Like, be as detailed as possible. Think about what scenario would really make them most happy, and allow themselves to manifest that. Even because it's Mercury, and we're talking kind of about Mercury retrograde as well, going back to the time before we got disillusioned with the fact that sometimes life doesn't go our way. But once upon a time, when we were younger, before we ever got disillusioned, we probably had big fantasy dreams about things that we wanted. And then we get a little crusty and we get a little bit beyond letting ourselves really have free flowing energy, because we go, oh, that's so stupid. That's never going to happen. Life's not a movie. But this says, if a character really wants to manifest the best for themselves, why should they hold back on whatever their fantasy is? Why not think in the brightest energy? Why not speak about the things that we want and really call it out and be like, you know what I really want? I want somebody who like cuddles me for 5 hours solid. That would be so awesome. Instead of being like, oh, well, never find anybody who's like that romantic. Why not? Why can't we put that out into the universe? Why can't we manifest the best? A Queen of Wands has no shame about saying, I want what I want. They do. I always think of the Queen of Wands as like this really kind of like adorable, impetuous, not mean spirited, and not immature in the least, but they have no qualms about being super passionate. They have no hangups. Like, this is somebody who loves their body. They have no body image issues. They don't let their mind go that way. They're like, what do you mean? I'm sexy. I'm me. I love myself. I love my body. I love how I look. I love sharing love with someone. I don't think that there should be limitations on who I can love, or what kind of a lifestyle I can have, or what kind of success I can have. I'm entitled to that. A Queen of Wands has like that awesome energy that says, why would I think small? I don't need to think small. I'm a freaking queen. That's the attitude, I think, for the message from the universe, is think like the Queen of Wands. Don't block anything. If there's a desire for some kind of happiness, really open that up and explore that idea and say, what would really be my 10 of Cups? Why would I limit myself and say, well, I'd like this, but I can't have it, so I won't even dream of that? This says, manifest the hell out of it. Why not? Why not think big? Why not go back to when we used to really want different things in life, before, life kind of rolled us in the mud sometimes and tarnished dreams? Doesn't mean those dreams can't still come true, but it does mean our character might need to take charge of them and go ahead and own it and say, well, I want those dreams. Maybe they won't get everything, but it'll be a darn sight closer to manifesting what they authentically want. And the final message from the universe is 9 of Swords. If the biggest obstacle in getting the real 10 of Cups is like not dreaming big enough because of fear, because of worries that we're not worthy, or because we keep placing limitations. So I'd love somebody to love me, but I don't think I'll just use this as an example. Like, lots of times people think, well, I'm not in my best form. How like people talk about like they're in dating form, and it's like the physical attributes, like, well, I need to lose 5 pounds before I can be loved. This is like, screw that. That's a total needless worry. That's not going to change anything. That's not what makes somebody lovable or unlovable. If it's 5 pounds, if it's 50 pounds, if it's, that's not going to change whether or not someone's lovable, except in their own mind. So it's kind of letting go of those worries is what I would suggest on that. Anyway, I like that one. That was different. That was kind of fun, and that was I think kind of a meaningful message on that one. That was awesome. All right, let's see here. Kim Conley. All right, let's go ahead and see what we get. Let's go over to my deck, and we will shuffle and see what message we get. All right. Ooh, where and how can gifts be used best? So in this case, it's kind of like asking about, in general, where is there like need right now in the world, or at either a micro or a macro level? Like what's the highest level of need, and what kinds of gifts are going to be most easily utilized maybe at this snapshot in the world that we're in right now? Because I want these to be more general, more applicable across the board. Strangely, you know what, I'm going to do what I really want to do here, which is oh, I hope that did that just mess up the audio? Sometimes if I bump it at all, it's really messy and it can wreck the way something sounds. Please let me know if it gets crackly, you guys. So during this snapshot of time, what's most necessary is love to overcome stress. Not a surprise, right? Actually, last night we just did a story about like the age of Aquarius in general, and thank you, Carol. Thank you so much for that feedback. The fact that love, consistent love, it's almost like if somebody has confidence in themselves, that confidence to be able to be emotionally available, especially when they can see that other people are nervous, other people are feeling like afraid to be emotionally vulnerable. I would argue it this way. I think everywhere I look in the things that are swirling around us all the time, you would almost think that everybody must hate each other and everybody's mad at each other. You know, the political spectrum, everybody's yelling all the time and everybody's pointing fingers, and it's like you would assume that humans don't like each other at all, when in fact I think that humans are really very sensitive creatures. And I think the fear of being, cast out of any kind of, group and feeling like I'm nervous, I'm afraid somebody's always going to yell at me for something, that kind of energy is probably like a lot of people walking around on eggshells, because it's just like, it feels like people are really quick to just be kind of catty and scratch at each other. And it seems like this character has the capacity to be calmer, to be more patient, to not make people feel like outsiders, to not instantly react like, well, that's a dumb thing you said, or to instantly go into hostile mode. Like, I think that sometimes social media is so beautiful, but then it can also be a forum for like a lot of people to say like unfiltered, rude stuff that they would never say face to face. And I think the message here is we have a character who has the capacity to be super understanding. That's one of the gifts that they possess. They're calm, they're patient, and they can make people feel seen, especially when they're like walking on eggshells a little bit and feeling like, if I say anything, probably somebody will jump down my throat. I'm already like highly nervous. What do I do? See, this character has the potential here, the capacity to be a real like thought leader. They have the capacity to move things forward in this way of like celebrating the individual, celebrating people having their own ideas, and making like a safe space for people to feel like it's okay. You can be different. You can think your own way. You can feel at peace with who you are. You can have a different opinion and be accepted. You can find that. You can be that comfortable on your journey of growth. You don't have to have all the right answers all the time, and you don't have to be judged based off of your worst moment. This feels like a character who has this wonderful capacity to, it's not that they don't hold people still accountable, but they give people chances instead of writing them off Instead of, I wonder if this character meets people or has a tendency, they could be an empath. This lead character could be an empath. Maybe this is a message for all the empaths out there. Empaths might be really good at noticing people that are uneasy, and because they have a gentle nature and because they pick up on those signs and signals, they could be saying like, why do I always meet people that are, like they're awkward, they don't finish a conversation with me, they avoid. And it's like, maybe because they actually feel safer with this empath than they would with anyone, but they're still kind of like people with rattled nerves. The empaths in this story, because I think this is collective, this is larger than just one character we're talking about, but they represent like a whole, segment is what I'll say. The empaths might be recognizing more and more, wait a second, it's me that's actually the strong one. It's me that people with rattled nerves tend to gravitate toward, because I'm giving them some kind of much needed strength. I'm making them feel not so judged. I'm maybe the person who's actually in a stronger energy. It might not seem that way at first because this cat looks like they want to jump away and avoid. An empath might be saying, I don't know why I wind up meeting people who then disappear on me, or they back off. And it's like, because they already have rattled nerves, and the empath can sense it and feel it, but the empath is still creating a safe space for them. And if the empath recognizes that I'm the one who's more powerful, more stable, more secure, that's a strength I have. Not a curse. That's a strength I have. But it does still look like, let me see, if that's the gift that they possess, and that's a much needed gift right now. At some point it's going to open up the key, that it's going to open up the door, rather. They have a key that will open up the door. Their higher self will recognize this, but they will also allow other people to more easily connect with their higher self. It's like this empath is the key. The Hierophant can also represent belief systems, structures, organizations, and marriage. This could even lead to our character recognizing their gifts, feeling stronger in the fact that they are an empath, recognizing what that really means, finding a way to basically buffer themselves so that they don't get drained all the time. And then it may actually lead them to being such a stoic and stable influence that someone who previously had pretty rattled nerves, who could be a great person, they could be a very frazzled empath themselves, finds a sense of peace. You notice how we got these two dogs loyal to each other, pulling this chariot forward to possibly marriage. I mean, this could be the outlook that this character has as a whole impacts those around them in a beautiful way, gives them a sense of peace and calm, simultaneously makes the empath feel more powerful and less drained by the gift that they possess. But it could also lead them to the road of actually connecting with someone who's a really, really beautiful person. And we've got this cat that was all freaked out, and now we've got them calm, and they're offering a gift. They're offering their heart. I mean, I know it's a dead mouse, but it's a cat. That's a wonderful gift from a cat. It's an interesting spin to think about the gifts of an empath, and to realize that they're the strong one, and to realize what they mean to others, frazzled nerves. But it's just a different spin on it, because I don't think the empath thought of themselves like that, as the strong one, until now, at least in this storytelling, right? All right, I'm going to leave that one there. Okay, so let's just see. I'm just going to pull one last one here. Thank you so much, Kim Conley. Thank you for being patient. It takes me a while to get to the meat of the storyline. Signs and syncs. Okay, past lives. Awesome. We've got to start with the past life deck then. So let's go this route. Oh, and hold on. I got to get one more. Okay. Sorry, you guys. Just probably had to look up into my nostrils, but we've got biblical, and we've got persecution and inquisition. That's not a great vibe to start with, because obviously The word persecution is not nice. Inquisition, definitely not nice, historically speaking. So past life energy could be one of like an epic saga that was somebody had a very tumultuous past life, and in this lifetime they may be more prone to wanting to see actual justice for those who've been persecuted. This could be someone who has a real profound sense of, you know what, there should be tolerance, there should be acceptance, there should be, that could be a motive for a character in this lifetime, because a past life energy was, you know what, I've seen the result of injustice, I've seen the result of persecution, and I don't like it, so I really don't want any of that. They could find themselves being someone really powerfully opinionated about doing right by people. Oh, Jasmine, thank you for being here, sweetheart. Good night, honey. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to pull a card for you tonight. Next time, though. All right, so we have common sense. When one door of happiness closes, another opens, but often we look so long at the closed door that we do not see the one which has been opened for us. So, what are lessons that someone has brought forward from that past life where they probably endured a lot of injustices? Well, they've had a kind of a more philosophical viewpoint for sure. I think these are the messages that are coming forward now. We have to speak the name of the dead is to make them live again, remembrance. So this could be a character who really believes in the memories of the ancestors, who really believes in carrying on traditions, who really believes in remembering that each life is important and we are a product of those that came before us. We also have power. Make the best use of what's in your power and take the rest as it happens. So there is a certain amount of like, instead of this character saying, because of some past life experiences that were really unpleasant, in this lifetime I have to fight for absolutely, fight against everything and my whole life is just going to be a battlefield. They're saying, no, what I learned is make an impact where you can. Make the impact, one person doing right can change the world. Somebody has to stand up and say, you know what, this is not cool. This is no, I'm not going to agree with that. Sometimes that one voice can turn the tide of many, but it does just require one person taking the action that they can, even in a small way, to say, I want to do the right thing here. And inherently, I know what the right thing is. I feel like we are dealing with a character who has a very strong sense of what is right, what is like a morally acceptable. I don't think that they have any qualms about, trying to like, their moral compass is not skewed at all. They have a very profound sense of what's right, what's wrong, but they're using their power in this lifetime to say, I can't change everything, but I can change what I have direct influence over. Sanctuary. Within you, there is a stillness and a sanctuary to which you can retreat at any time and be yourself. Also, I like the fact that even if our character experienced some really devastating persecution at some point in their past life, and I mean, we see that kind of stuff with the Salem witch trials, we see that with, many different things. They are not, in this lifetime, they are not letting themselves say, everybody is crap. I really don't like the way people behave. It really gets me angry. Instead, they're like, you know what? When I feel a little bit overwhelmed, I'm going to come back to center and I'm going to touch base with myself and say, not everybody has the same capacity for understanding information until they are taught it. So let me be a patient teacher. Let me find that strength within myself. Let me feel like I'm allowed to be different. I'm allowed to, even if I'm not well understood in this lifetime, maybe I wasn't in a past lifetime either. Maybe I was misrepresented. Maybe I was persecuted because of it. But in this lifetime, I am creating space for myself to be exactly who I am. And I'm also going to be a patient teacher. And then we have accomplishment. Know what sparks the light in you so that you, in your own way, can illuminate the world. It just kind of follows through with what we just said. We have a character who's like, one of my life purposes perhaps is to help people grow in knowledge, to help them find the same thing that I obviously already know, which is we should allow each person to have their own personal freedom, to make their own personal choices, to not persecute them because they think differently, they believe differently, they have, a different set of personal choices that they wish to make. Okay, how this person could be an educator in this lifetime, plain and simple. They could be that leans more heavily toward that than like somebody who is like a they're not necessarily just interested in social justice, perhaps, but they're more interested in like changing minds and hearts through the accomplishments and through the power and the wit that they have. This character could be very, very good at touching people's hearts and minds and helping them to elevate in this lifetime because they see that as the way forward. That could be the best thing that they can possibly do to change the world that they live in today based off of their experiences in a past life. You know, I want to just take another look here because so far we've only talked about the things that our character endured in the past and how that might be shaping what they value in this lifetime. But I want to also look at the positive. Was there something positive that they took from past life as well? Ooh, the Hermit sideways. Their profound sense of self. This person might have been quite a philosopher in a past life. They might have been a healer. They could have been someone that was like even I'll say a misunderstood healer. They might have said, I don't know what this gift is that I possess. I only know that I've got it and I don't even know what to make of it. But it's the gift of understanding themselves and also other people, being able to see, okay, we'll put it this way. I think medicine is a great example of something where it's like the gigantic organism that we are, this multicellular organism that is human. And indeed, like any living creature, we all share similar traits, right? They probably understood the innermost workings, not just of like the human mind and what drives a human, but maybe they understood at the fundamental level, like, doesn't every living thing have the same needs, right? We need to eat, we need to breathe, we need to feel safe, and we're going to do what we must to get there. And then what we fear is the unknown, the competition, the things like that. And I feel like this character was able to identify that. They were able to see the similarities, and that kind of like helped them get beyond small-mindedness. So that was a real beautiful gift that they possessed. I do think that this is suggesting that in a past life, this character might have been a philosopher. A lot of that would explain why they come across as a teacher in this story. But a lot of our great philosophers, and even a lot of our great scientists, mathematicians, anyone who's ever been ahead of their time, has oftentimes found themselves persecuted, jailed because they dared to, look at the way the planets moved and they were right about it, but they still got jailed because nobody wanted to hear that. It could have been something along those lines. And they're like, but you know what? I was able to not only think for myself, but I was also able to understand the mechanism that drive others. And they didn't do it in a judgmental way. That's what I meant when I said medicine's a great example of not being judgmental, but rather collecting information, seeing how things operate as a whole, by kind of looking at it under the microscope a little bit, taking the emotional charge out of it and just looking at it and seeing it with an unbiased vision, because all they're looking for is truth. They're not looking for, an emotionally charged this or that. So I really feel like this character, one of the benefits of a past life is they were able to comprehend humans at a deeper level. They understood themselves first, but then they applied a non-judgmental view, even if they themselves were being persecuted. I believe he's Hungarian, and I can't think of his name. It's going to drive me nuts, but the first physician who ever suggested, hey, maybe there's things called germs, and maybe us doctors should try washing our hands. He was the laughing stock. He was kicked out of the medical world, and he, he was too far ahead of his time, and they decided to ridicule him. And obviously he was spot on, but in his lifetime he was never acknowledged as being spot on. That's kind of the energy that I get out of this. Somebody who's educated, who can see things very clearly, and who might have been ahead of their time in a past life, but in this lifetime they're just right. But they have learned lessons from the past about how do you present information to those who have not caught up yet. Let me package it and present it in a format that others can comprehend and thus avoid the persecution. Let me try to be patient as a teacher. Let me try to use what power I possess to help educate in this lifetime. And this character doesn't mean they have to be a professor to do it. They might teach people a different way to look at life simply because they understand how people's minds tick. They understand the fear factor that gets somebody blinded to reason. They understand the different things that make someone feel hostile, and they can work with that and work around that and kind of help people get beyond that so they can embrace the new without instantly shutting down. It's a very, I would say it's a very, very wise character is what we're describing right now. And a character that I like, man, I'd sit down and rap with this character for sure. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave this one here. Thank you, everybody. Yes, yes, yes. Signs and Sinks. Yes. Semmelweis, thank you very much. All right, you guys, take care, and I will see you again. We'll do this again if you guys enjoy this. But every day I'll be putting out one of these videos where you guys get to make the selection in the comment section, and I'll just randomly choose somebody. I always mention whoever suggested it. Last night we had Don Divine had suggested a storytelling about the age of Aquarius, and that was a really, really fun one. That was so awesome. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much. I absolutely adore hanging out with you, and I will see you guys again very soon. My pleasure. Signs and Sinks. Thanks. Bye.